the women that like in high school and maybe college that, you know, got a lot of advantages and privileges in life, you started to see those privileges go away and their lives, the quality of their life declined tremendously. Because there's even studies that are done that show after divorce, women are substantially worse off than men are. So I understand that, like, if you're 22, you might see the injustice of a girl that you went to high school with that gets, you know, that like this girl couldn't even do math, but she's making $10K a month on OnlyFans now. You see that injustice and it makes you angry and jealous. But wait until 15 years from then, and that's not going to be the case for her anymore because her body's going to change and she's not going to be young anymore, and people aren't going to buy her OnlyFans. That's just biology. And so, and at the same time, you'll have spent 15 years developing a career, and you've got many more years like that to go. Based, exactly, deja vu. I've talked about this a lot. I think it's something that bears repeating. It is. Yeah, but she'll have more money. So what? Who cares? It doesn't really matter, does it? Yeah, it doesn't make a difference at all. They'll be fine if they marry some rich fuck and divorce them. That's usually not how things like that go. It's actually a lot more rare and uncommon than you might imagine. There's a lot of older OnlyFans that are goats. Yeah, sure, right? And I'm sure there's plenty of people that are exceptions to everything. But if you think that, like, there's not a norm, I don't know what to tell you. Everyone here saying it's easier for women, should live a week as a woman. So, like, there's also a lot of things that, like, women have to deal with that, like, men don't have to deal with. Like, for example, like, childbirth. You have to deal with, like, having periods. You are smaller and weaker. Like, so it's just, like, if you get in, like, if a man wants to physically dominate you, he can't, basically, right? I mean, unless there's, like, a massive extreme disparity, right? Like a, you know, like some bodybuilder female against like some super skinny guy. But in general, like men are stronger, faster, and just more agile than women are. And so that's just the way it is, right? That's biology. And so, yeah, women live longer. Yeah, sure, they do. That's true. But anyway, yeah, it's PvP server, right? And so it's like if you're a girl, like the amount of issues and problems girls have to deal with. So if you talk to 5 girls, you'll get 10 different stories of harassment, and probably more than that. So yeah. So I know that, like, obviously a lot of people think that women have it easier because they're looking at girls that are like top 1% of earners on OnlyFans, but like that's really not real life. That's not the norm. And so yeah, the overreacted harassment. Yeah, I think that people don't understand how bad it is. So yeah, in some places girls can't remove something growing in you. Oh, like they can't get abortions? Yeah, I know that. Women like to play the victim role even whenever they're not. Yeah, but so do men. Like, that's not really too big of a difference, right? I mean, I think that there's, like, again, a lot of people that have, like, the resentment towards women are people that have had, you know, their own personal unresolved trauma with, like, their mother or, like, a girlfriend or something like that. It's the same as the women who are, like, all men are trash. It's like, you don't really believe that. You just think your dad is trash. Like, that's not really what you think. It's just basically people that have their own personal unresolved trauma, and they've extrapolated this into a worldview. I think that's the case with a lot of people that are like incels on the internet, etc., is that they've invented a worldview that makes the way that they live verifiable or justifiable. It's projection. Yeah, it's projection, basically, right? And so, sure. But that's really, that's the way I see it. And so, yeah, women do have advantages in life, but every day I wake up, I thank God I'm born a man. So, yeah, dudes in here be like, I'm racist, and their friend group looks like, yeah. Of course. Yeah, like, I'm racist. Yeah, sure. This is, yeah, welcome to your average Call of Duty lobby. Yeah, absolutely. Or, yeah, welcome to CSGO. The most diverse community? I guess so, yeah. Racists, the most diverse community of people in the world. Yeah, Serbian war criminal. Is it that guy? I have no idea, no clue at all. But yeah, and nobody cares what race you are as long as you're being racist. Yeah, exactly. That's what really matters. The DEI group chat. Yeah, I guess so. I mean, I feel like a lot of times, like anytime that I see like a guild meetup or like a clan meetup for like not that kind of clan meetup, but like a Xbox clan meetup, right? You know, there's always like all kinds of different people there, right? I mean, it's just, I think that's what's normal, right? Yeah, clan with a C, not a K, okay? And my parents in their 30s. Our son looks so cute. Me in my 30s. Fucking computer. Yeah, close enough, right? I think that's the case with a lot of people. And it's actually really kind of strange how much different it is. But I think that I think people not being able to afford things in life is really a huge factor. It is. I'm not racist. I hate everybody equally. Oh, I mean, the thing is for me, I'm not racist, but I sure know a lot of racist jokes. I know a lot of them. Like, man. Yeah, same. Yeah, I got a lot of them. But, yeah, that's it. What do you think about a third of men under 25 are Christmas virgins now? I don't know if that's true or not. I'd have to see statistics on it. So, I guess we can talk about this now because it's been like a huge topic. Let me go ahead and see if I can pull it up here. Where are we here? Okay. POW World. There we go. Okay. So, there has been some crazy news. That's what's happened in like the past 24 hours. I think it was like right at the end of my stream this happened. And I had to go and do a meeting or I would have stayed on and talked about it. But it's certainly looking like Nintendo is suing Pocket Pair over POW World patents. And this is really interesting because, so what I thought was going to happen is that I didn't think anything was going to happen. Because I assumed that POW World, like, you know, you can look at Dragon Quest, for example. Was it Dragon Quest or whatever the Pokemon... The one that, like, you know, people won for one Pokemon with. I don't know where it was, but I think it was Dragon Quest. Yeah, it's Dragon Quest. Yeah, there you go. And let me see if I can pull it up and find it actually real quick. Dragon Quest. Yeah. Here we go. Right? And so you can see a lot of the copies of Dragon Quest ended up going directly into Pokemon, right? And these aren't really one-for-ones, but they're also not two-for-ones either. They're pretty close. They're ones for 1.1s. So they did copy a lot of this stuff. And then Digimon came out, so I assumed, like, yeah, they're probably not going to get in trouble for that. But here's what's really interesting about it. It is patent infringement, and it is about game mechanics themselves. So POW World has put out a statement about this. They said yesterday a lawsuit was filed against our company for patent infringement. We've received this notice of lawsuit and will begin the appropriate legal proceedings and investigations into the claims of patent infringement. At this moment, we are unaware of the specific patents that we are accused of infringed upon, and we have been notified on such details. Pocket Pair is a small indie company based out of Tokyo. Our goal as a company has always been to create fun games. We'll continue to pursue this goal because we know our games bring joy to millions of people. POW World was a surprise success this year, both for gamers and for us. We're blown away by the amazing response, and we'll continue improving POW World to make a game that we're proud of. It's truly unfortunate that we will be forced to allocate significant time to matters unrelated to game development due to this lawsuit. However, we will do the utmost to our fans and ensure that indie game developers are not hindered or discouraged from pursuing creative ideas. We apologize to our fans and supporters for any worry or discomfort this news has caused. As always, thank you and your continued support of POW World. So, basically, what Nintendo is suing them for, there were a couple of patents that were linked. I'll see if I can pull them up and show you guys. So, where is it here? Yeah, here we go. This is one Nintendo patent that is being used here, and it is the idea of throwing a ball and then having a ball loot, or like, yeah, here we go. Process, and this is clearly the process, process algorithm of how this works, right? And so if you throw a ball and capture a monster, and then the ball, based off of different attributes of the monster, such as its current health, its level, the type of ball it is, and the type of monster it is, if you do that, you, I think, according to Nintendo, are violating a patent. And so there you go right here. In first mode, an aiming direction in a virtual space is determined based on a second operation input, and the player character is caused to launch in the aiming direction an item that affects field character disposed on the field in virtual space based off of a third operation input. In a second mode, the aiming direction is determined based on second operational input, and the player character is caused to launch in the aiming direction a fighting character that fights based on the third operation input. So, in my opinion, I don't think this patent is going to hold up in court if this happens in America. This is in Japan, however. The reason why is that Pokemon is not really a unique idea, really. It's not. And it's just that basically the magic of Pokemon is simply a natural evolution of throwing a trap at something. Because if you look at, so basically a patent can be applied to things the more specific they are, right? So like the more specific something is, the higher the chances that you can patent it. I don't think that throwing a ball at something and then the thing going in the ball is specific enough for there to be a patent for it, because too much of this behavior mirrors natural human hunting behavior. So it's like, can you patent natural human hunting behavior? No, you can't. So that doesn't mean that Nintendo can't sue them. But I also want to give another example of this. So the Nemesis system, this is something that's being used, it's used in Lord of the Rings, Shadow of Mordor, is a system that effectively allows monsters that you fight with or fight against you to level up over time as you continue to encounter them regularly, right? This was patented by Warner Brothers, and that's why other people can't use it. Also, having a minigame during a loading screen was patented, but now it's not anymore. And so, yeah, the NAC MPG generator, where they might be cooked, is the public perception of them. The public perception doesn't matter. Nobody cares about this. If the public perception was bad, like, do you really think that the public cares about... You think the public is going to read this and even understand what the fuck this is? Fuck no. Absolutely not. No, they have no idea about any of this. They have no idea. And so nobody cares about this. Like, people are going to play Power World no matter what. So I don't think that there's going to be any sort of an impact that this is going to have on Power World in terms of their, like, public image. I think that all they really have to worry about is losing money or having to pay Nintendo a lot of money or getting shut down, right? And so, yeah, public perception might go against Nintendo more than Power World. I think that it will. Because the truth is that Power World, like, Nintendo, the idea of Pokemon, there's nothing unique about Pokemon, really, in a lot of ways, right? So if you really scale down, what element of Pokemon does not exist in the real world? What element of it? The Pokeballs? Traps. People have tons of different traps. They have bola traps. They have, obviously, like, you can raise Pokemon as well. And so same as you can raise animals, you have all kinds of other traps, like, you know, a bear trap, all kinds of traps, like, you know, a glue trap, millions of different types of traps. Gem badges. Gem badges. I mean, I feel like there's a million different types of badge systems, etc. Yeah, and there's even badge systems that are associated with competency of using an animal. Like, there are things for horses, and there's also things for dogs. There's a lasso. Yeah, think of a lasso, too. So I don't think that that's unique. Throwing a fish to catch a fish? Yeah, there you go. It's like bait, exactly. Evolution of Pokemon? I mean, evolution is a fundamental concept. It's a fundamental human, like, scientific understanding. And I think that evolutions in animals is perceived in all kinds of things. Like, even inside of Tolkien, for example, there is a degree of evolution between the Uruk-hai and the orcs, for example. Digimon is, yeah. And so anyway, let's see here. Pulling my bike out of my backpack. Okay, that one doesn't happen in real life yet. As kids are going around the world without a care in the world, at age 12, battling Pokemon. Yeah, well, that is probably a little bit different. And so, yeah, basically, they're going to patent the idea that a caterpillar evolves into a butterfly. Yeah, okay. Yeah, for sure, man. Yeah, go ahead, Nintendo. That makes a lot of sense. And so anyway, you have animals that fight each other, the affinity system. I think the affinity system is something that is experienced in real life too. Like, for example, like there are different animals that fight each other. Now, the elemental component of it is unique, but it's not really that special, right? It's like a fireball versus an ice ball, right? I mean, like elemental components is not really unique either. And so you have dog fighting, you've got cock fighting, you've got all kinds of animals that people have kill each other all the time for entertainment and just for sport. So whenever you really break down what is Pokemon, Pokemon is really a G-rated version of some pretty barbaric shit that we used to do in real life. Eat the Pokemon? They do eat the Pokemon. They eat Taurus. So that's not true. Yeah, exactly. And so, yeah, and even bugs, exactly. So basically still do. Yeah, but like in like the, at least like the modern Western world, it's not as common nowadays, right? And exactly. In Springfield, Ohio, they eat Meowth. Good one. Real good one. And so anyway, so Bucky, obviously one of the CMs from Pal World, has also responded to this. They showed a couple of other things. We'll go ahead and read some of the replies and the comments about this from the audience. So yeah. Let's see here. Thank you to all of our fans and kind words and messages. Quinn saying, fuck Nintendo. Release a trailer, most people overlook it, including Nintendo, not a big deal. Pal World becomes enormous international success. Nintendo loses their shit to a game using monster taming features that could be more popular than Pokemon. Files lawsuit, seems legit. They might sue the zoo too, since the animals seem to look a lot like Pokemon. Knowing Nintendo, suing a zoo for having animals that look too much like their Pokemon isn't really out of the question. I could see that happening. Yeah, I mean, this is Nintendo we're talking about here. So Pikachu AK-47, that's great. And y'all got this, Nintendo can't keep getting away with this bullying shit. I think that a lot of people are very tired of Nintendo exercising their intellectual property rights in a way that seems to be draconian and oppressive and, at the end of the day, consumer unfriendly. And this is one thing that I've said before about intellectual property in general, is that I think that when intellectual property and patents serve as a inhibitor to innovation, they are now no longer ethical to be morally upheld. And I think that, like, the Nemesis system is a good example of that. You can have, like, different song IPs, etc. I think that basically the people that own IP have too many rights of that IP in Western culture. I don't like it. So basically, I think that when a person puts something out there to the public, you give away a certain degree of ownership of what that thing is by putting it out to the public and creating it as a product. Like when a person buys something, there needs to be some degree of consideration that they earn. And I think if somebody wants to change things, and again, I want to make sure this is very, very clear. Pal World is not getting sued because of the images. Like the Pal World versus Pokemon comparisons. This is not what they're getting sued for. Which is crazy. So it's actually not. Which is what I said wasn't going to happen. Because I was like, well, Digimon has the same stuff. What do you think, right? I mean, look at this. I mean, this is like, it's absolutely shameless. But this is actually not what they're getting sued for. Lucario is pretty damning. Yeah, that's Lucario and Anubis. That's the law in Japan. If they don't lose their IP, they lose it. Yeah, I just don't care about the law in Japan. I don't live in Japan. So, yeah. And I think their law is wrong. Like, they have a shitty law. If everyone said if Nintendo had anything, they would sue them. Now they sued Pal World and everyone is mad. Everyone poked and poked at Nintendo to take action just because they thought they couldn't do anything. I think that if Nintendo... So here's the problem, is that you're looking at... So you're talking about two different things, right? The first thing you're talking about is the public perception. I don't think that anybody's perception of Pal World is going to be worse now that Nintendo has sued them. Nobody is like, oh, wow, I loved Pal World, but now that Nintendo sued them, I hate Pal World now. That's just not what I think is going to happen. I don't think that anybody is thinking like this. So what we're really talking about is, like, did they copy the characters? I think that they kind of did. But the problem is that Pokemon copied Dragon Quest. So it's like, how are you going to go and say, oh, Pokemon, let's respect the IP of Pokemon, when Dragon Quest used a lot of the same models as well? And also, you have a lot of these images here. Wow, it's a caterpillar. Does anybody making a cartoon caterpillar, it's a rat with a horn on its head? Like, is it really that crazy that this happened? You have the Chinese dragon, and then Gyarados is like a more, like Japanese version of that. So yeah, are people really going to respect this or care about this? I don't really think so. You just made the point Nintendo can't sue over art design. They don't have a patent on art design. That's not why Pal World is being sued. Exactly. And so that's what I'm really trying to get at, is that this is not what Pal World is getting sued for. Pal World is getting sued for patents on game mechanics. That's what's happening. So anyway, I'll go ahead and I'll look at a few of these here. And we've got right here, the filed a patent infringement lawsuit, Tokyo District Court against Pocket Pair. Nintendo will continue to take necessary actions against any infringement of its intellectual property rights, including the Nintendo brand itself. And so let's see if we can find any more of these, of like different patents that were specifically done regarding the lawsuit. Oh, this is the same post that was already made. We don't need to see a whole lot more else besides that. We'll read the actual Nintendo post here. No, that's literally it. So yeah, Nintendo doesn't have to win to win. They probably saw Pal World fall off and thought it was a good time to strike with bullshit lawsuits and have their own version of the game in the works now to sell. Well, here's my perspective on it. I played Pal World, and I thought it was a great game. I really liked Pal World. Like, you guys might not know this, but I actually, I played it a lot off stream, and all of my pals are level 55. Like, I have all, like, max level armor and everything. And I never killed some of the end bosses because go straight. What do you call it? Because I wanted to do it on stream. But I put, like, a tremendous amount of hours into it, prove it. I can log on just for a minute. Maybe I'll log on later on. But either way, I don't want to do it right this minute. Max is 55 now. Yes, it is. My character is 55 and everything like that's done. I completely filled out, like, I didn't fill out every Pokedex option, but I've done pretty much every single one of them. So yeah, you could argue that the way that you catch a pal is extremely close to the way that you catch a Pokemon. So that is what they're arguing. That is like a foundational thing that they are arguing. Here's the status in Japan. It was registered in 2023. Yes, that is literally what they are arguing. That's where we're at. And so, why is the prison shit? Yeah, and it's bullshit. I think it's bullshit too. Turn left. I do. I think that it's complete bullshit. Because the idea of catching something like this, too much of what throwing a Pokeball at something does, too much of it is basic human intuition. So, for example, if you're going to trap an animal, you would want to make sure that the animal is tired or somehow exhausted, right? It's beaten. Like, the animal is in one way or another beaten. It's out of stamina, it's out of health, it's out of energy, it's out of something. And then you throw an object at that animal. And the object that you throw at the animal has a chance of capturing the animal that probably has a variable ratio based off of your proximity to the animal. Like, if you throw it and you're right next to it, it's going to be easier than if you throw it and you're 50 feet away. Big fucking surprise. This is, yes, cavemen figured all of the... Cavemen invented effectively what are Pokeballs. Nintendo just changed the vocabulary. So there's nothing... I'm trying to think about, is there anything... And there are even types of traps, too. Like, for example, wood traps probably don't work as well as steel traps do whenever you're trying to capture a bear. So, yeah, you're stretching logic here? No, I'm not. Am I? I don't really think so. I don't think so. Yeah, I really don't think so. I actually think that... So... Basically, a patent, as I said before, is more valid the more specific it is. But the problem with this is that you could, through natural intuition of human behavior, intuit the design of the way a Pokeball would work. And also, keep in mind, being inspired by something does not mean that you are automatically wrong or you've automatically committed copyright infringement. Overthinking about Pokeballs. The 3 ticks the balls have before capture is very specific to Pokemon. That's actually a really great point. You bring up a really good point. That's really smart. Yeah, you're right about that. That's a great point. Yeah. Somebody, you should work for Nintendo. Yeah, that's a great example. And by the way, I want to make one thing very clear. I think it's very evident that Palworld intentionally copied Pokemon. I think that they shamelessly did it. And it's undeniable that they shamelessly copied Pokemon. Absolutely they did. I can't imagine the amount of mental gymnastics you'd have to go through to say otherwise. It's just that I don't think that the way that they captured it and the way that they copied it is different enough to where Pokemon has a moral high ground to say you're not allowed to do this, when Pokemon copied other things from other people as well, like Dragon Quest. So why is it that Pokemon isn't getting sued? So Pokemon owns something that they stole? What the fuck are we talking about? This is ridiculous. It's outrageous. Use the word inspired. Yeah. They should have made the cube up to 4 ticks. Yeah. Why do you think they sued now? Do you want to know the real reason why I think they sued? It's probably because it took them a long time to build a case and to set something like this up. All the time, like, usually lawsuits like this, like, you know, for example, like, you know, the Johnny Depp lawsuit, right? Like, that didn't happen at that same year. Like, that was something that had happened years and years in the past, and people are looking back on it and figuring it out, like, 2 years ago or 3 years ago, right? So, in many cases, death trial took 2+ years, exactly. And that's between 2 people, right? So, think about between 2 companies. That's going to be super, super complicated, right? Especially with how complex Japanese copyright law and, like, IP law seems to be, right? I'm not an expert in this. But yeah,
turn right.
If this passes and Nintendo wins, it's crossing a line to what could be patentable for video games. Yeah, I think it is. And I think also, this is my opinion about it. I want Nintendo to lose. I'm going to say it. I want them to lose because I hate the fact that companies are copywriting these broad ideas and hamstringing and effectively suppressing innovation in video games. I want them to lose. Facts, Nintendo is anti-consumer? Exactly. And I don't think that Nintendo has any sort of, like, moral high ground to say that, like, Pokemon is some sort of, like, unique, amazing, perfect thing that you can't have a Pokeball, when a Pokeball in almost every single function acts in the same way that real life things act as well, like a trap. So yeah, I do want to see Nintendo lose this, and I want to see the precedent of Nintendo losing this be used as an argument for why other patents on video game mechanics need to also be relinquished. I think that these are, again, suppressive. I think that they are, at the end of the day, not in the best interest of the customer, and they hurt people. So, yeah, or not really, I don't know about hurt people, but they hurt the game. They hurt games in general. Do you think they will lose? Do I think Nintendo will lose? Guys, none of us here know fucking anything about Japanese international, like, IP law. We don't know anything about this. How the fuck do we know? I have no idea. I have no idea. I hope they lose. So yeah, they hurt innovation. Yeah, so I mean, like, I really cannot even begin to say what's going to happen. The Nemesis system would be so badass on other games. Yeah, and the fact that Warner Brothers has a copyright on it, or sorry, excuse me, a patent on it, is outrageous. It's absolutely outrageous. So yeah, I do hope Nintendo loses, and I hope this sets an example for everything else. But yeah, massive fucking L for Nintendo. Patents for game mechanics are bullshit. It's why we don't have more games with this. Now Nintendo come out saying you can't catch monsters in a ball. What a ridiculous fucking thing to say. And by the way, all patents and all of this stuff is created by the government. Like, Nintendo isn't shutting down Pocket Pair. The government is. It's not like when, there's a Melee tournament that happens, Nintendo sends out, like, assassins to go shoot the people that are making the Melee tournament. No, they tell the government to do it, and then the government does it on the behalf of Nintendo. And what I think is we should tell the government, stop fucking listening to this shit. That's what I think. I think that IP law and people's ownership over things that they spend their money on is way too restrictive, and I think that people should have more of a right to do what they want with things that they spend their own money on. So yeah, that's it. The law is outdated as fuck. It's not that it's outdated, it's just stacked in a position. The law is stacked in favor of the incumbent corporations maintaining their status quo, because they're the ones that are impacting the law. That's the reason why. So you're saying I should buy Pal World if it gets taken down? I don't know. I was thinking I might play it today for, maybe the last time ever. Dragon Age, the fail guard clips on Twitter. Yeah, I might look at that a bit. That's why there's no serious competitor for Call of Duty or Battlefield. The patents on how aiming and firing in the game is coded heavily and forced, and almost other devs have no workarounds or solutions that aren't subpar. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. Does Nintendo even have any ideas for the new console? Yeah, probably they're going to make a Nintendo Switch, and it's going to be called the Nintendo Switch 2, and it's going to look like the Steam Deck. That's probably what it's going to be. It's going to be crazy. Bro, you said everything was copied one for one from Ark Survival? You just capture Pokemon instead of dinos, but you hate Ark but love Pal World? How does that even work? I know that you're retarded. Not because you're spamming, but because you like Ark. I don't know why you would do that. Like, it's so weird that somebody would do that. Why would you type the same message over and over? You're just going to get permabanned. Yeah, if you do that, you're just going to get instantly permad. Like, I don't know why you would do that. Yeah, that's it. So, there's no spamming? Yeah, you just don't spam. Like, anybody who spams gets permad. Stay to read it out loud. He just wants to argue. He has got an opinion about it. Yeah, I don't want to even address it. But anyway, let's see here. Ark players have suffered enough. Yeah, I think so. But anyway, no point replying if they keep spamming. Well, I try to make an example out of people because a lot of people on Twitch, I don't know why it's like this on Twitch, but people think that if they just spam this, like, I think it's like a form of like social autism or something, where like they don't understand how annoying it would be to have somebody spamming the same message at them over and over and over, but is extremely fucking annoying. Are little kids? Yeah, I think so. But yeah, anybody who does anything to annoy me to get my attention, I will instantly block and ban just based off of the fact that they're trying to do that. It's in case you don't see it. no, I don't. That's not important to me. If you type something in chat, I've probably seen it and I'm ignoring it. So that's it. It's irritating. Yeah, exactly. I don't tolerate it. So yeah, just in case anybody is curious, if you're typing the same thing multiple times, you're going to get permit. You will get permit. It doesn't matter if you've been following for 4 years. It's just an instant permit. That's it. So yeah, anyway, these fucking software companies are going all in on software patents. It's disgusting. Nobody in software likes the idea of software patents, but it seems like all-powerful investors have turned Nintendo and other companies into patent machines. They'll patent air and water next. There's a funny thing about patenting water and Nestle that's really, really funny. Super funny about that. Really funny story. Man. Yeah. We want to own the rain? I guess so, right? Nestle water is patented? Yeah, it's nuts. Extremely exploitative. Going to be a huge crisis in the future when nobody can make software except for a handful of large conglomerates. That's right. Why are there no bootstrap startup companies? Oh, I don't know. Maybe because you patented the mouse, the keyboard, and if anything else. If anything, and the if-else statements, you fucknuts. Yeah, there you go. It's very, very obnoxious. Nintendo's going to get hate from gamers if they start patenting game mechanics like that. The problem is that I don't hate from gamers. Do you think Nintendo cares about hate from gamers? Absolutely not. If they did, they wouldn't be shutting down, like, Smash Brothers tournaments. They don't care about that at all. All they care about is making money and protecting their brand. Yeah, they don't give a shit. And so it doesn't even matter. Yeah, it doesn't want to affect Nintendo at all. No, the problem is the fact that it's the law. Yeah, that's it. Hate from gamers. How many people make their personality to like Nintendo? Yeah, also, like, people aren't going to care about this. They're just going to buy the next Pokemon game. If Pokemon comes out with a game that's as good as Pal World, everybody will play it. Nobody really cares about this. Like, it's not like people aren't going to, like, nobody's going to change their behavior because of this. They might think Nintendo is stupid for it, but they're not going to actually stop buying Nintendo products because of this. That's crazy. Of course not. So, yeah. Nintendo hasn't ever cared about players. I think Nintendo does a great job. I love Nintendo, but the way that they enforce their copyrights and the way that they enforce their intellectual property laws, I think is draconian, and it completely, it is a complete overreach. And I think it's shameful that our government allows it to happen. And I think it's shameful that we have laws that allow it to happen. Because it's not Nintendo that's doing it, it's the government. Again, don't get mad at Nintendo, get mad at the government, because they're the ones that are actually saying that you can't do it. They can't patent flying mounts, you can only patent novel ideas. Based on the description, it sounds like they're trying to patent seamless transition between flying and ground mounts, but I don't feel like that would be novel either. Of course not, because there's plenty of other games that have that already. Yeah, I do fucking hate copyright law. Like, what scumbag thinks you can copyright basic ideas like this? Yeah, enemy that kills you gets stronger. Isn't that crazy? Wow. Wow. So yeah, I hate copyright law. Well, I think that people are just saying intellectual property. Like trademark, copyright, and patent are just all under the umbrella of IP law. And I think that people hate all of them for different reasons. So yeah. Imagine if Dark Souls had that Nemesis system. Well, that would be a very bad time. Assassin's Creed. But yeah, that's what I think about the Nintendo lawsuit and Pal World. I think that Nintendo is full of shit. I hope they lose the lawsuit. I hope that this is the beginning of the end. It won't be, by the way. But I hope that this is the beginning of the end of these companies that are copywriting and patenting ideas that end up suppressing innovation in video games. They are fundamentally consumer unfriendly. And I think that the government enforcing these types of laws is acting directly in the best interest, directly against the best interest of its people. And I think it's disgusting. I do. I think it's disgusting. It's annoying. And I can't believe that people are putting up with it. That's what I think. So, yeah. He's right. Absolutely. Japanese government does not care. They don't view copyright like we do. That's right. And it's a different country, a different culture, and it doesn't matter what I think, right? But it does matter if they enforce it over in the United States. because the United States does not have to comply with Japanese copyright law.
Go straight.
They choose to. And the fact that they choose to is shameful. So yeah, I still think it's the same thing. Demon Souls had World Tendency, which is similar to Nemesis. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of versions of it that are kind of close, yeah. They enforce this in the US? Yeah, exactly. Are there any games that have patents to you that make sense? I'm sure that there are some of them. But I think it's things that are not, like, that you could not intuit through human-based behavior. Assassin's Creed Shadows is accurate. What is this? I don't even know what that is. PS5 Pro by Skeletor.
We here at Sony are always thinking about
Oh god,
new
I'm
and
not gonna watch a 5-minute video of this. They're trying everything. What's this? Ubisoft is trying to get a Japanese editor to defend Assassin's Creed Shadows in Japan. The Japanese people quickly caught on and exposed this person as a former Sweet Baby member. I was informed by everyone about the case of Hiroshima Kazuma, who wrote in the New York Times that Assassin's Creed Shadows was well received in Japan and that the criticism in Japan was translated from English. Former Sweet Baby Inc. freelance, former Ubisoft and Square Enix consultant and freelancer, writing for Polygon and IGN. Thank you. Oh my God. Why would you do this? It's so obvious if you're doing it. Yeah, there we go. Holy fuck. They locked down their profile. They quickly locked down their profile. Of course, right? Because this is what's going to happen. They can't even conspire properly. You know what? That's a lot sadder than I think that we're giving it credit for. They can't make the game right. They can't make the lore right. They can't even figure out how to push out a false narrative the right way. Like, they can't do it. Like, what the hell is going... You got a bunch of monkeys working over there. What the fuck's wrong with them? Jesus, how much longer until IGN or Polygon are gone, do you think? I think IGN will stick around for a lot longer. I think Kotaku and Polygon are on life support. I think IGN will be around for quite a while because IGN, they have innovated their business strategy in a lot of ways that I think is very intelligent. And while I do disagree with some of the things that they put out there, like, let me see if I can find something here. Yeah, they put out one thing. They have a YouTube channel that drives a lot of traffic to their website. And also they put out so many videos a day and they probably get, like, let's look it up, right? Social Blade. So they get 169 million views a month. That is an insane fucking amount of views. They are pumping. That's more than my main channel. Just for a comparison, that's more than my channel. So they are making a tremendous amount of money. Now, I don't know, this number is probably not accurate. However, they're making a lot. How? Because they're uploading by volume. Look at all of these videos that they're uploading, right? It's extremely common.
Go straight.
So, yeah, I think that IGN is probably one of the only gaming journalism companies that will actually last. And it's because they've diversified their business away from just writing articles and from their website. And they do other things that are beyond that. And they cover topics that exist beyond gaming. So, yeah, now they viewbotting. I mean, well, if the viewbots are watching ads, then at the end of the day, they're still making money, right? So, yeah, they have mini guides. Digital Foundry's better. It's not about whether it's better or not. It's about whether this is generating revenue and whether it will be successful and whether they will exist in the long term, which I think they will. That's what my point is. So I don't think IGN is going to die. However, I do think a lot of the other... I think that Kotaku is going to die. I think that Polygon is going to die. I think that basically every other one of those companies, like PC Gamer, I could easily see PC Gamer dying too. Now, when is that going to happen? I don't think that there's going to be like a day that they announce the website is shutting down. I think it's going to be kind of a slow, like kind of just like a slow, just like kind of fade into obscurity, right? A few years. Yeah, you know, it's going to wither away. It's a slow death. So that's what I think is going to happen. Anyway, it's not really a surprise. How do they realize that trying to defend the game in Japan is utterly pointless? You can't just gaslight an entire country into thinking that they misremember their entire history. Well, they're trying Western culture strategies on Eastern culture. Because in Western culture, you're taught, like, basically we have our own version of original sin in, like, Western culture with, like, slavery or colonialism, right? But Japanese culture, I'm not really sure, but it seems like, as an outsider, that they don't have that same sense of guilt where they have to actively, like, act like their culture and their history is bad. Whereas I think in American culture, there is the implication that, like, yeah, slavery was bad. Now, what's my opinion on it? Of course we came over here. It wasn't colonialism, it was conquering. That's what we did. We came over here, we took it over, we killed everybody that was here, and we said we own this place now. That's what happened. Just the same as everybody else has done for the entire history of humanity. And I'm not sorry. And if anybody is sorry, they're more than free to give up their house to any native family that they want.
Right.
But nobody's doing that because you're not really sorry. So, yeah, I've got no problem colonizing. Absolutely. Manifest destiny. You're goddamn fucking right. And so, yeah, I'm not sorry about that even for a fucking second. And same thing with slavery. I didn't fucking do that. And everybody else used to do slavery too. It's not that big of a deal. And you know what else? We got rid of slavery. A lot of places still have it. So yeah, I don't think that, I don't have any of that guilt at all. I didn't do it. Japan's very imperialistic. They deny the war crimes they did in World War II. Well, okay, so like let's say that what you're saying is true, right? I can't make a statement on that. I don't know, because like I'm sure that, you know, Japanese culture, like I don't really get it. But what I am going to say is I think it's more prevalent than it is here. And so a sense of patriotism and, you know, being proud of a person's history, I think is more frowned upon in Western culture. It's quite simple. The West believes that they are quite bad by nature, but Japanese people believe that they're naturally good. I'm not sure, but I can speak in terms of Western culture, where I think that a lot of people do feel like they have a degree of guilt for the history of Western culture. I absolutely don't. Absolutely fucking not. Yep. Teaching history is not the same as feeling guilty. Imperial Japan killed millions and starved millions. Everybody killed millions of people. That's just what we used to do. That's just the way it is. And we do it again, too, by the way. Like, I want you guys to keep in mind, if Palestine had done on October 7th that to the United States, Palestine wouldn't exist right now. If Palestine had done that to Russia or China, they also would not even exist right now. They'd be gone. Like, can you imagine that if they had done that to China? Are you crazy? Well, maybe not Russia. I don't know. But yeah, so true. And that's the difference in feeling guilt. Yeah, so, I mean, again, we would easily do that again. Like, it takes so little. Like, you guys might not remember how bad it was in, after September 11th. It was like Helldivers 2. People straight up wanted to just go over to the Middle East and just kill everybody. It was an extremely common talking point. That was the plan. Nobody cared about how civilians were killed. People said, good. It's so fucking easy for that to happen again. So don't ever think that we're past that, okay, guys? We can easily pog over killing and genociding civilians. It would take almost no effort whatsoever. And I'm sure that probably within our lifetimes, it will happen again. They dance in the street? Absolutely. The thing is, we'd reverse roles in Native Americans. Of course, yeah, people aren't going to like that happening to them, sure. I think reacted well to 9/11. I mean, either way, I'm just saying that's what's going to happen. And so, yeah, we're not above this, and either way, that's why I think it's not going to happen as well in Japan, though. Is like they don't have the same cultural guilt that Americans do, and Western culture does. Look up Japanese human experiments. Oh, I mean, everybody does bad stuff like that. I'm sure Japan has done plenty of bad things. I'm aware of some of the bad things Japan and, like, China have done to each other, sure. Yeah, like, there's, like, mass rapes and shit like that. Yeah, it's bad. It sounds real bad. But, I don't give a shit. It's not my culture. It's not my problem. Fuck them. They want to kill each other? Have fun. Yeah, Japan did the worst known human experiments in history, worse than the Nazis. That's not true. They've done the worst experiments in history so far. Okay? Keep that in mind. We can still do better. Biohazard bombs? Yeah, of course. What is this here? Christopher Lee is scarier than Saruman. Here we go.
You ought to see me with the 357 mag. The boom tone rises up and comes up behind, so I have to stand on. My job as director to talk to Christopher Lee and explain to him what I wanted. So I started to go into this long explanation about what sort of sound he should make when he got stabbed.
I seem to recall that I did say to Peter, I have no idea what kind of noise happens when somebody's stabbed in the back. And I said, because I do. It's not, I like that.
It was the wind?
Because the breath's driven out of your body.
He proceeded to sort of talk about some very clandestine part of World War II.
He used to be in the British Secret Service, whatever that was.
He seemed to have expert knowledge of exactly the sort of noise that they make, and so I just sort of didn't push the subject any further.
Yeah, bro, this guy was like the, he was like the real James Bond, man. I read a little bit about this guy's, like, history. Absolute fucking, like, crazy shit. Yeah, what a Chad? Absolutely, yeah. Christopher Lee is the greatest? Yeah, I know, and he lived to, like, 93, 94 or something like that, yeah. It was crazy, man. Yeah, knew 5 languages, yeah, like, descendant of Charlemagne, all kinds of other crazy shit. Man. James Bond character is based on Lee. Bond's creator was friends with Lee. Wait, what? Wait, is this actually true? There's no way this is actually true, right?
Keep left.
Their family? It was his cousin? Oh my fuck, I did not know that. What the fuck? Okay, wow. There it is. I think Ian Fleming got the idea from James Bond from a war buddy he did a mission with. Oh, I think it probably, the odds are he probably got the idea of James Bond from, like, a number of different experiences. But I'm sure that probably one of them might have been Christopher Lee, right? That's it. That's so fucking cool. It's so badass. Let's see here. Literally, the meme about safe spaces. Oh, I saw this before. You do not fit in here. Okay, we'll make a place of our own. Why are you excluding us? You do not fit in here. Yep, there you go. Look at that. That's video games. That's Warhammer. That's, I don't even know, Xbox Live. That's Magic the Gathering. It's Dungeons and Dragons. Oh my fucking god. Christopher Lee did some Metal Christmas songs? Yeah, he did. And, man, why the flag? I don't know why the flag. I'm just saying, I think that it's very common that people always want to invade your space. I think the reason why is that these people think that they have, like, a, you know, again, like a moral mandate to tell everybody else how to behave. And that's why they keep invading everybody's space. It's because they think it's the right thing to do. They're doing the right thing. I'll read some more comments, see if there's anything interesting about Power World here. I hope Nintendo loses, that's what I said. Love to hear about this patent. This Power World has 20x more the variety of stuff than any Pokemon game. True. It's interesting. A lot of people expect Nintendo to sue. Yep. Oh, right. Mr. Beast. That's right. Public enemy number one is getting sued. Mr. Beast is being sued by contestants on his upcoming Beast game show. Failed to pay minimum wages and overtime. Failed to prevent sexual harassment. Participants were not provided uninterrupted meal breaks and rest breaks. Several contestants ended up hospitalized, others reporting suffering physical and mental complications while being subjected to the chronic mistreatment, degradation, and for the female contestants, hostile working conditions. I think he should just come out and have people kill each other. Like, let's just bring back the Coliseum. That's the only way that Mr. Beast can rebuild his reputation. He has to have people die on camera. If he's not doing that, then he's not willing to give the people what they truly want. The Hunger Games, that's right. But, like, you have to be really creative with it, right? Become the villain. Well, it's, again, he's not really the villain. He's just entertaining people, right? We need to be entertained. Yeah, send in the hounds. Exactly, yeah. Like, can a person fight a tiger? How about 5 people with spears versus a tiger? See what happens. Yeah, I feel like it'd be interesting. All right. Back at it. So, yeah, Mr. Beast needs to kill people. That's what I was talking about. I don't know what's going to happen with this. I saw there was a video about it. I figured I would watch it and take a look at it. I'm dumb, not a content creator, but why is he still silent? Because there's no reason for him to respond. I think that Mr. Beast at this point should never respond to the allegations. There's no reason to respond to them. He doesn't have to respond to this. Why would he? Just fucking ignore it. He tried to kill someone with a concrete tower. That's crazy, right? So this is it. So look at this. Let me see if I can find it. Oh man, where do they go? I might not be able to find it here. I'm sorry, guys. A Mr. Beast crew member allegedly was hospitalized on September 11th after part of a tower at the Beast Games collapsed on them while filming. Again? Yes. Oops. Wow. Yeah, there you go. made a video 4 hours ago that Mr. Beast's downfall was begun. Guys, Prime doesn't melt steel beams. Maybe you're right. I mean, like, if Mr. Beast recreated September 11th to see if it was an inside job or not, that would be crazy. That would actually go so hard. I would watch that. Yeah. He's gonna be president? Well, then he can do it for real. I don't know why Bush did it, but, you know. Someone's sabotaging him? You think so?
This video is brought to you by Surfshark. Stick around to hear more about the special offer they're providing to the entire upper echelon community. Alright, some of you may know this, most of you probably don't, but lately I've been taking a bit of a break content-wise because, to put this delicately, I am completely burnt out on the current reality of social media. As an example...
Because it's full of a bunch of fucking retards that just want to hear their own opinion repeated back to them. They can't think for themselves. There's no critical thought at all on the internet anymore. And everybody who tries to think and have an independent opinion is shunned and attacked.
Just one example. I can't even log into Twitter anymore without seeing some kind of suggested content that just has outright horrible violence in it, which I'm pretty sure has a compounding effect over time.
Yeah, I kept seeing this video of some, like, 14-year-old killing his parents. They keep posting this video. Like, I don't really want to watch this. Yeah, I never get those. Oh, I get them all the time.
People's mental health. And I've also had personal stuff going on.
Launch it?
However,
Who cares?
something that doesn't seem to be taking any sort of break is the completely deserved, absolutely justified, and deeply satisfying destruction of Mr. Beast's public reputation after he became the world's largest social media influencer by leveraging some of the most sleazy, disreputable, and materialistic techniques you could possibly imagine.
That's right.
Now, to be absolutely clear, I don't think the lawsuit that I'll be mostly focusing on for today will actually go anywhere, because a lawsuit like this is almost certainly destined to be settled out of court. When you have sleazy pieces of shit like Jimmy Donaldson and mismanaged companies like Beast Holdings, they can't survive the process of search and discovery because they know what they did wrong and they know what the optics will be. It doesn't matter how much money they have. People think it does, and it can, but it doesn't in certain situations like this one. It doesn't matter what law firm they hire. Eventually, when you consistently act like garbage all day, every day for the sake of profit, you end up with a simple cost-benefit equation of, I have screwed up repeatedly, and if we actually fight these people in public, the world's going to openly see at least some of those screw-ups, which is...
Exactly. It's not in their best interest to fight it publicly. Yeah, they don't want to fight it publicly because, like, the more that they fight it, the more it's going to give people a reason to doubt them or distrust them. The best thing for them to do is settle or try to get the lawsuit thrown out.
Exit right.
Yeah.
The precise point in time where the con man or the dirtbag suddenly goes, wait, I'm sorry, I'm reasonable, let's find a settlement here. And then they use a non-disclosure agreement to make sure nobody says anything after they get bent over in private. The sleazy dirtbag media mogul comes out looking fine on paper because that's their ultimate goal.
Yeah.
But behind the scenes, they lost. They know it, their opposition certainly knows it, but the public just never gets to see the details. In my opinion, that's precisely what's about to happen here, with very little uncertainty, I might add, because Beast Games is a dumpster fire of a production, so much so that I am quite frankly baffled by the fact that Amazon is still working with this guy. I would be holistically unsurprised, actually, if we got some sort of announcement soon that they're...
People are upset because Upper Echelon doesn't like Mr. Beast. I mean, who cares? Like, I mean, I think it's pretty evident that Mr. Beast has done a lot of things that are, like, bad. Some of the things are probably not true, but there's enough of them that probably are true that, you know, it's not so good, is it? Yeah, who likes Mr. Beast? A lot of people. That's why people keep watching his videos. Most influencers don't have business, HR degrees. They have no idea about the legal side of stuff. They have advisors. No, I mean, the people that, like, Mr. Beast isn't making these decisions himself. There's people that he's hired to make these decisions. And also keep in mind, Amazon is getting sued about this too, right? So it's not like this is all Mr. Beast just being a stupid YouTuber who doesn't know the law. I mean, Amazon is involved in this. Could he face criminal charges? Almost never.
Not working with him anymore, but that's pure speculation
Yeah.
on my part. I guess we'll find out over time. So lately, advertising itself has become a sort of game of psychological manipulation here on YouTube.
Always
like
has
having
been.
a progress bar for the advertisement at the bottom of the screen that
Yeah.
deceptively makes you think the sponsored part is about to be over, but it's really not, which is
Mr. Beast did that, by the way. Very relevant.
perfectly legal, mind
Yeah.
you. But in my opinion, it's a fundamentally
It's deceptive.
disrespectful thing for your own audience.
Yeah.
With that in mind, yes, today is a sponsored video, and yes, I'm about to talk about a product, but I'm also going to do it in a clear-cut, straightforward way. The sponsor is Surfshark. Surfshark is a VPN, a virtual private network. Most of you have
need
probably
this
heard
to
of
look
them.
at porn
And
in
VPNs
Texas
protect
now.
you against a bunch of different things. Nothing in cybersecurity is ever 100% effective. It's a tool, not a miracle. But Surfshark
Yeah.
protects against certain types of phishing attacks, malware, DNS tunneling,
For real? Yeah.
DDoS attacks in particular, and also against invasive data harvesting practices from big tech companies. On top of that, Surfshark unlocks additional content on streaming websites, such as Netflix, for example. You can change your region, thereby adding additional options in your video library because of geographic licensing contracts.
Yep.
And Surfshark gets around regional censorship, like the government deciding to block things.
Very
As well as encryption, IP
That's like
protection,
in,
modification.
was it
Surfshark operates
Venezuela,
completely
something like
separate
that, Brazil?
infrastructure from NordVPN.
Yeah,
Surfshark
Brazil.
also maintains a warrant canary. I will never use or endorse a VPN that doesn't. And if you click the link down below using promo code Echelon, you can take advantage of a special community-wide offer for up to 4 months for free. Again, that's promo code Echelon with the link down below for a community-wide special offer. Big thank you to Surfshark for sponsoring the channel. Back on task. This right here is a redacted version of the overall complaint because, quote, the plaintiffs have filed this action using pseudonyms and applying conservative redactions that limit public viewing in
That's
a good
smart.
faith effort to comply
Yeah.
with defendants' overbroad confidentiality provisions, which plaintiff alleges are unenforceable, as well as to preserve the confidentiality and privacy interests of the plaintiffs who wish to avoid...
No,
quote,
it's a good idea for them to hide their names, because if they didn't, then those people would get exposed and they'd get attacked for suing Mr. Beast. Yeah, it's definitely a good idea for that to happen.
opprobrium meaning backlash or criticism in this case from mentally deficient Beast fans.
That's right.
At this point, I'm
Exactly.
going to read the basic overview of complaints on the cover page, actually, because there's not really that much to see down below since a lot of it is redacted. Quote,
Yeah, sure.
class action complaint for failure to pay minimum wages.
Easy.
Liquidated damages for failure to
Don't pay
pay
'em.
minimum wages. Failure to pay overtime.
Don't pay 'em.
Sexual harassment.
Well, you know.
Failure to prevent sexual
Ah,
harassment.
there's that.
Negligent infliction of emotional distress.
I could believe that.
Failure to prevent uninterrupted meal breaks.
Sure.
Failure to provide uninterrupted rest breaks.
Naturally.
Failure to pay wages promptly upon termination.
I
Failure-
bet this show is going to be a real, it's going to be a real event. I'll tell you that. Yeah, it sounds like this show is going to go crazy.
to provide accurate and itemized wage statements, failure to indemnify for employee expenses and losses in discharging duties, unfair business practices, false advertising, declaratory relief. End quote.
That's
Here's
the
whole
Mr. Beast special.
obligatory "I'm not a lawyer" disclaimer because
Yep.
massive YouTube lawyers apparently like to take people out of context and make things up for the sake of twisting arguments.
Sure.
But even with that in mind, this complaint seems pretty obviously geared towards the classification of contestants as now employees under California
Yeah.
state law, which would then result in a lot of responsibilities and compensation requirements. Something I'll address at the end of the video. That claim actually takes on a whole new light in the full context of how the company routinely operates, but I'll get to that later on.
Okay.
I can't speak to the future of that claim, but a lot of what they have in here goes hand in hand with a multitude of
I
other
hope Beast Games flops badly. So the show will be bad, but based off of the amount of emotional damage the show has done to people, it makes me think that it will be popular. Because like people love seeing like really raw, bad stuff like that. So like the worse something is, the more popular it will be. Distressing? Yeah, exactly. Like that's how I think people are.
Revelations about the general mismanagement of Beast Holdings.
Watching a train wreck?
They even
Yeah.
cite in the lawsuit directly a production manual that was leaked a few weeks ago where they say
Right.
things like "no doesn't mean no." And they talk about how if talent wants to draw a dick on the whiteboard in the video or do something stupid, let them. Going on to say, really,
who cares?
Do everything you can to empower the boys when filming and help them make content. Help them be idiots. And this isn't the first time.
I don't think that's a problem. I don't. Like, that to me, like, just by itself isn't really an issue. Yeah, I'm not really seeing, like, the no means no is, like, not a big deal. Like, obviously that's bad, right? If you take that out of context and anywhere else. But, like, you're talking about making YouTube videos, right? I mean, you're not really talking about, like, sexual harassment.
We've heard about sexual harassment at this company.
Yeah.
It's not the first time we've heard about issues with their competitions. It's just a formalized version of those problems in one isolated production, admittedly a very large production, with an emphasis on contestants qualifying as employees to expand the scope. But even if we make the jump and talk about actual employees here, not regular contestants now claimed to be employees, the picture doesn't get any better. Beast Games has filmed in 2 locations so far, Las Vegas and Toronto, Canada. During the Vegas shoot, YouTuber Rosanna Pansino posted an email that she had been sent, allegedly from the IATSE, which states Beast Games, aka Project Greenlight, had been deemed an unfair production, where union workers were prohibited from working on set.
Oh
For
my
anyone
God.
who doesn't know, the IATSE is the International Alliance of Theatrical Stage Employees. I can't necessarily speak further on this because I haven't seen the actual email. But what I can speak further on is the ACTRA, which is the Alliance of Canadian Cinema, Television, and Radio Artists, which has publicly posted do not work notices on their bulletin.
Oh
To be
my
fair,
God.
non-union productions aren't exactly uncommon. You can have a television show that does not work directly with these unions.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
sure.
But see, normal productions don't result in their contestants getting frequently hospitalized.
I mean, how many people died on Survivor? It was like 3 or 4, right? I feel like a lot of these shows are like, yeah, they do, like, yeah, you want to have people get killed on the show. People died? Yeah, of course. Not in one season. You're right. You're right. They had to build up to that.
Productions aren't starving their contestants with inadequate meals
Uh-huh.
and then feeding them shitty chocolate bars in front of a camera, telling them to say how much they love it. Oh, you love that Feastables bar, don't you, for free advertising.
Oh my
Normal
God.
productions aren't losing contestants underwear and depriving women on their...
Bro, starving them of food and then making them eat Mr. Beast Feastables? Oh my God.
period
This is
of
a
their
South
personal
Park episode?
belongings
This is
or
the-
withholding proper treatment.
Bro, it's like he's Jigsaw or something. Yeah, it's nuts. Like, it's crazy how much different, really, like, is this from, like, a horror movie? It's a villain, yes. It's amazing. It's inhumane, yes.
I could go on, like how normal productions don't misplace medications or hire
Uh-huh.
registered sex offenders, but I think most people get the point.
Yeah, that was
There's
all the other
basically
stuff,
three different
yeah.
angles right now. First was the Ava Chris Tyson fiasco. I don't need to go in depth on that. It's mostly in the past